to class number 4. Looks like we got a full house today. That's great. Glad to have you. I really enjoy teaching these classes. For me, it's a lot of fun. And you know what? It actually helps me. You know, it helps me because I get to review all the basic fundamentals. And I noticed my last 2 Wednesdays in league, I played 10 games and I had 6 runouts. That's the best I've played in years, so thank you. Today we're going to cover English, banks, and specialty shots. And along the way, we're also going to review some of the basic fundamentals if you missed things along the way. And I do want to reiterate that we do have DVDs of every class, you know, all 4 classes, and we're also videotaping this one as well. But as usual, I'm going to start off with a quote. I'm going to do that in every class from now on. Just do it. Nike. Everybody remembers that. It's one of the most simple, but yet most profound quotes about sport. And the thing that comes to mind is the importance of, in any endeavor, to take a no-nonsense approach to it. You know, just putting yourself out there, playing in that tournament, taking a lesson, practicing that extra hour. All those things are part of becoming better at pool. And I love just doing it quote because I think it simplifies everything. And it doesn't make us look for quick fixes and panaceas. Like a lot of people might get a new cue and think that their whole game is going to turn around. Well, guess what? It takes hard work to get good at this game. Okay? All right, we're going to start off with a little review here. I've got a game of 1 in 15 on the table right now. Now, as you all know, in 8-ball 1 in 15, the 1 has to go in the side pocket. Well, first of all, I'd like to apologize. I was in the middle of teaching class number 4 at Country Roads, and the camera shut off because the camera was full, and hopefully we can avoid that in the future. But to maintain continuity with the classes, we've reconvened back at my house, and I'll go through the things that we went over in class number 4. These will all be posted as playlists on YouTube. I was right in the middle of doing some review, and this first situation is a game of 8-ball where I wanted to focus on the importance of the tangent line. Now, the way the balls are set up, I do have one problem area. The 6 is tied up. But lo and behold, if I stop on the 7, I do have a nice 90-degree angle that will take me right into those balls and break out the 6. So let's go ahead and see how we do. Simple stop shot to begin with. Okay, and then I look at my 4-ball on the side, and clearly the 90-degree angle takes me right into the 11, which will break out the 6. And I should be able to run out from here. Everything's looking pretty good so far. Now if I make the 6-ball, I use a little right English, keep the line and the 5. 5 in the side and the 8 in the corner. Ball in the corner. The tangent line is absolutely crucial to be a good pool player because it basically is the foundation for all position play. Okay, also another crucial review item is simple stop shot. It's a fantastic way to develop your stroke, and when you're doing these practice sessions on stop shots from straight in, you want to do them from different distances. We'll start out with a short one with the cue ball in the center of the table and hit a simple stop shot. But we're going to review all the setup, stance, correct alignment, and stroke techniques. Again, on this shot, where's the center of the pocket? Draw a line from the center of the pocket to the contact point. Your aim point's always a half ball behind. Now on a straight-in shot, their contact point and aim point are the same. But from there, you draw the target line all the way back to your right big toe. The chin and the cue are all in perfect alignment. So once you got your line, everything in the correct place, you're ready to step forward into the shot with your left foot towards the target. Take your warm-up strokes. Nice loose grip on the back of the cue. You got everything lasered in. Draw the cue back slowly. Release the cue. You want to accelerate the cue through the ball. That's essential. Don't steer it. Don't push it to the right. Don't let it come up in the air. And that's really important. Let's take the same stop shot, but we'll move the cue ball back significantly. One thing you'll notice on these, it's harder to stop the ball, obviously. But a little trick you can do so you don't have to hit it so hard is you hit it a little bit below center. The key thing is that the cue ball is skidding when it hits the floor. It's not rolling forward or backward. Again, all our same fundamentals. Aim point, target line all the way back. Chin, cue, big toe all in perfect line. Step one foot, left foot forward towards the target. Take your warm-up strokes. Perfect. Okay, I can't overemphasize how important those shots are. And I highly encourage you to do 20 to 30 of those a day. Okay, the next thing I'd like to talk about is English. Now I saved this for class number 4, mainly because of the complexity of English. Now we'll use a cue ball and lay it on the center spot. And on this shot we're going to practice different amounts of English. We're going to start off with a half tip, a full tip, a tip and a half, 2 tips, and even more. The thing that I want you to remember about English is that when you use English, that you're going to have issues. One is deflection and one is curve. Now that'll be dependent on the speed that you hit the shot. And I'll explain that more in detail as we go. But let's just see how 1/2 tip of left English brings us. Swing down, do all your setup techniques. Nice warm-up strokes. 1/2 cue tip. And that's about to be expected, about the first diamond. Now let's try a full cue tip and see where it takes the cue ball. There's dead center, full cue tip of left. And that's pretty close to where it should go, right around the pocket. Let's try a tip and a half now. And that's exactly about where it always goes for that second diamond. Now let's go to 2 tips of left English. And that's pretty much it, to the side pocket. Now very rarely would you use 2 tips or anything more, but you can actually apply more English than that. On this last one, I'll put maximum amount of left English and we'll see what it goes. Now, that's what I want to call your attention to. Half tip came here, full tip here, tip and a half here, 2 tips here, and I was actually able to go through this diamond over here as well. So with that one shot, using left and right English, I could alter my cue ball direction to any of these areas, all the way across here up to here if I was using right English. So it gives you an idea how powerful English can be. Now, let's actually look at some shots using English. Put some balls on the table. Let's take, for example, shooting the 8-ball. Now, in this particular situation, you have stripes. And you made the last stripe in this position because you're behind the two solids. Now this is probably the easiest type of shot to figure out because we know a pool table is half as wide as it is long, 4.5 by 9. So from this diamond, all I have to do is go through the middle diamond with center ball to make the 8. And then we'll work from there to learn more about English. And that's a pretty basic shot. But what happens if there's a ball in the way there? Let's take, for example, a solid that's right on that mid diamond there. So now what do we do? Okay, in that case, if I shoot through the first diamond from this diamond with one Q-tip of left English, it should take me right into the 8 ball. Okay. But what happens now if that one's blocked off? Can't go through that diamond anymore. Alright, the system also holds true for one Q-tip of right English into the first diamond over there. Should take me right into the 8. And I missed it by a hair. Let's try it one more time. A little bit more English this time. There we go. Okay, now what happens if we got these all covered? Let's say you're in a position like this. Shooting the 8 ball to win the game. And I think everybody can notice there's only one way to make the 8 from here, because all your other options are blocked. Knowing this table is my own, I know exactly where to hit this. One Q-tip of right English through diamond number 2 will take me right to the 8 ball. Let's try one more situation. How about this one? What do you do here? Believe it or not, this is one of the easier shots, but most people don't know about it, or most people don't see it. In other words, I'm hooked by the knuckle of the pocket here. So how do I make the 8 ball? Well, I simply shoot it off the other knuckle. It comes right across to make the 8. Actually, that's not as hard of a shot as I made it look, but you know, the lights are on right now. Okay, the next thing I want to do is go over one of the most important concepts in pool. You've probably heard from a lot of good players that the center of the table is your friend. Well, it really is. You put a target pool matrix on the middle of the table, and our goal is going to be to roll the cue ball onto the yellow in the center. This is a tremendously valuable tool for playing position, and I'll explain more of that as we go. Let's just take a normal cut shot like such, and I know that exactly about one tip of English would take me right to the yellow. We'll see how much speed control we can maintain. A little bit hard, but you get the idea. But the main thing I want you to remember is that when you cross the center of the table off of 2 rails, there is no way in the world that you can just scratch. None whatsoever. All right, what I'd like to do now is discuss a topic we haven't covered at all yet, and that's banking. And I can give you a couple of systems to play with that. Let's just grab some balls here. We'll set up a typical bank in the side pocket. The 8-ball's in the way, so obviously you can't make it straight in there. But if you bank the 15 ball, in this case, you'll have a nice easy shot on the 8 in the side pocket. Now, systems are good. They get you a good approximation of where you need to go. But banking is an art, because there's just too many variables. The rails, the cloth, the speed of the cue ball, English, how much you're cutting it one way or another. Obviously, the most reliable bank is a straight bank where you don't have to hit it to either side. A lot of great players like Buddy Hall hit most of their banks fairly straight, but they use English and things to maybe widen or shorten the angle or speed. Now, here's a system that you can utilize that I think is pretty valuable. On bank shots, you simply find the midpoint between the ball you want to bank and the pocket you want to make it into. That midpoint is approximately right here. Step number 2 is to lay your cue to the opposite side pocket, like so. Now, in order to find the point on the rail to bank the 15, you simply hit the 15 on an exact parallel line. So there's the spot on the rail I need to hit. Okay. Fairly reliable system. All right, let's try another one. We'll make it a little tougher this time. Midpoint between the 13 and the pocket you want to make it into. Lay your cue across to the opposite side pocket. Hit it on a parallel line. So just a little bit right of that spot. Now, there are many other systems. That's the one I prefer. There's also a simple one just called the triangle system. If you lay your cue from the rail through the cue ball, through the object ball to the other rail, guess what? You got the base, the left-hand side of the base of the triangle, and you also have the point of the triangle. You go straight across and then double that distance. That'll determine whether it's a straight bank or not. And this one is. So all I have to do is hit it dead in the center, and I should be okay. Okay. Now that's all I want to cover on this, because systems, again, are limited. They're only approximations. The way to become a good banker, there are no shortcuts. You simply have to practice a lot. And when you get into cut banks or cross banks, the difficulty is accentuated. Like, for example, if I'm banking the 1 in here, I can use my system, but I have to overcut this. And the reason why is when I cut the 1, I'm putting left English on the 1, which will make it come short. Same thing if I'm crossing the 1 like this, hit it there to here. I can use the same system, but I have to cut it more. Because when you cross the 1 like that, you're putting right English on the 1, which will throw it long. So banking is definitely a challenge. Okay. The next thing I want to cover is kicks. And kicks, you're basically utilizing the same kind of system. In fact, we'll take a situation, an 8-ball. Let's say you're about like this position. All right, I don't really like to use the diamonds when I'm kicking because I think there's a more accurate way to determine that. But again, you simply find the midpoint between the cue ball and the ball you want to make, which is the 8-ball. The midpoint is right there. Now, you simply take your cue and aim it to the opposing side adjacent to the 8-ball. In other words, the 8-ball's here, so I'd be aiming it right to here on this side. That's simply bisecting the angle. Now all I have to do is hit it on a parallel line. So it's pretty close to that diamond, should take me right into the 8. Now let's not make one that's a little harder this time. This one's a little bit off the rail, but not close to the pocket. You can still make it because that's a big ball, but simply the same system again. We take a midpoint between the cue ball and the ball we're trying to hit, lay our cue across that midpoint to the opposite side, just like we did before. Hit it on a parallel line. Pretty close. And it doesn't matter where the 8-ball is. It can be there, close to the pocket here. Here's another one. Midpoint, lay the cue across, parallel line. Okay, dead in the face. You can see you can always get pretty close. The kick shots are like banks. You basically have to take into account a lot of variables, including speed, the cloth, rails, English. It's all a factor. Obviously, the harder you hit the cue ball, the shorter it'll go. The softer you hit it, the longer it'll go. The main thing to remember is that when the cue ball is hit firmly and the cue ball sinks into the rail, that'll make it come short. If it's rolling into the rail, it'll actually make it go longer a little bit. So that's a key factor to keep in mind. All right, let's do a few specialty shots. These come up all the time. Let's take a game-winning shot. This is kind of an introduction to Masse. Let's just say you've made the strike, but then you've got poor position. And if you look at this shot, even if I go rail first and hit it real easy, I still can't hit the 8. So basically what I have to do on this shot is I have to jack up and punch down with right English. So it deflects to the left, but then curves back around to make the 8 in the corner pocket. And again, we're looking at about a 45-degree angle. I'm aiming about right to that spot there. Jack up. Speed is crucial on this. And that shot, you simply have to practice it. It takes a lot of work. Now, if you hit that shot too hard, it doesn't have time to curve. So you've got to have the exact speed down on that particular shot. All right, here's a carom shot for 9-ball that I think you'll find helpful. Let's say you've got the 9-ball, the 7-ball, and the 8-ball laying on the table. And here's the position you're in. 9-ball's hanging, but look at the 8-ball. It's right in the way of you making the 7. And you've got about a half ball hit on the 7. Now, the best way to make this shot is, again, utilizing the tangent line. So what I would do on this shot, I'd get from this side of the 7 and know where exactly I have to hit. Where's the 90-degree line that'll take me right into the 9-ball? Now, if I hit that shot with a stun, which means the cue ball is skidding as it hits the 7, I should run right into the 9. Center ball hit. Let's try that one more time. Okay. That's not bad. That time I put too much draw, but it's still. Let's shoot it one more time. About a half ball hit here. There we go. That time I hit a two-way, which followed right in the pocket. But you can see how you can calculate those carom shots that way. Here's a good practice drill you can do for 9-ball or 8-ball, and I do this with a lot of my students. I'll start out with 3 balls, and what I'll do here, if the student that I'm working with plays 8-ball, I'll give him 2 solids in the 8-ball or 2 stripes in the 8-ball. And I'll just practice with him throwing those cue balls out randomly on the table. Let's get him down to this side so you can see him better. And we'll actually discuss what would happen if you get ball in hand and what's the best way to run out, the easiest way to run out. Now in this particular situation, first thing I think, you always do everything in reverse order in the 8-ball. In other words, which ball would be easiest to get on the 8-ball? That's the way I would look at this. Now in this particular case, you've got the 1 and the 5 in the center of the table. Now the key thing here is that you want to minimize cue ball movement. So the one thing I see immediately is if I play the 5 on the side and stop the cue ball, I'll have a very simple shot in the corner where the cue ball will be sliding this way, which should put me right behind the 8. So in my mind, the simplest way to play the shot is put it right by the 5, hit a stop shot, like that. And hit another stop shot with maybe a little draw, and just slide it over right behind the 8. And then I have a pretty easy shot to win the game. Let's try another one. These are kind of fun. Let's see, let's get them more over on this side if we can so you can see them better. Put the 8 over here, a little bit tough. Okay, here's a good one. Alright, the main thing that I'm looking at here is which ball is best to get on the 8. I'm thinking if I make the 2, go up table just a little bit, I've got a nice easy cut shot on the 7 with little right English that can take me right behind the 8. So in this particular shot, I'll just set a little bit of angle. I'll try to slide the cue ball up here so I have a nice angle to bring the cue ball behind the 8. Just the center ball. Now on this shot, if I just put a little bit of low in right English, it should take me right towards the diamond here, so I have perfect position for the 8. And again, I almost hit the chalk, didn't I? Okay, now I got a nice easy shot on the 8 ball. Okay. Alright, we did a couple of 8 balls. Now let's do a couple of 9 balls. Just take a 9 and 2 solids. Just randomly throw them on the table anywhere, see where they go. Okay. Alright, this one looks pretty straightforward. I'm noticing the 7 goes straight into the corner pocket. So the 7 is obviously going to be the ball to play before the 9. Now one thing that I see right away is that if I shoot the 6 in the side, with just a little bit of stun towards the center of the table, that'll put me in perfect position to make the 7 and the 9. Just like that. Now I have a straight in shot on the 7. Just a stop shot. And then an easy 9 ball. Again, just another stop shot. Alright, let's do one more 9 ball. Alright, again, we want to make this in the simplest possible way. So the first thing that I notice is if I hit a stop shot on the 1, I have a perfect angle to shoot the 4 with a little left, low left, and bring it perfectly behind the 9 ball. I could bring it over to here, but that's a little bit questionable with the side pocket there. Side pockets are fine, but sometimes when they have those steep angles, you want to avoid that. So what I'm going to do here is simply hit a stop shot on the 1. And then I'll have a nice easy shot, play the 4 in this corner, 1 rail off behind the 9. I want to go just a little bit forward so I don't have to stretch too far. And this is just about perfect. It's a little low left because you don't want to scratch. And bring it out right behind the 9. Okay, I think those are some pretty good drills that you can practice with. Let's see if there's anything else I can cover today. I think that pretty much does it. I hope you've enjoyed these lessons. This will be the last lesson that's conducted at Country Roads. I do 4 every year. So, all the best to you all. Have a good one.